Well, how's it going, everybody? My name is Tyler Anderson and welcome back to this channel. I make it my goal here on YouTube to teach you guys how to become better bass anglers using the skills and knowledge that I've acquired over the many years, and I'm super excited about this video. You know, during this global pandemic right now, so many people are maybe not picking up a fishing rod for the first time, but maybe for the first time in a long time. And I get this question very, very frequently here on YouTube and on Instagram throughout the past few weeks, and that is, what gear is absolutely necessary to be a successful beginning bass fisherman? Now, that topic is one that when I was a beginning bass fisherman, didn't really understand, but now that you see I have a brand new bass boat, dozens of rod and reel combos, and tons of tackle, I know exactly what is essential for a bass fisherman to pick up straight from the shelves, head out in the water, and become a successful fisherman, and of course, catch some bass. Now, of course, if you guys are new bass anglers, my channel is geared towards instruction. I love teaching you guys all the ins and outs of how to become a better bass fisherman. So if you guys are not subscribed to the channel yet, I would invite you to join Team TRF. That is the squad here on YouTube. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, there are tons of videos out there for, you know, best rod and reel combo under $50, best tackle bundle under $100, and I'm gonna try to, of course, keep the price as low as possible because I want the barrier for entry into the sport to be as low as possible. But I'm just not a believer in buying crap product, to be honest. I wanna recommend good product to you guys that you will actually catch fish on and you will learn from and become a better bass angler. And just a disclaimer at the beginning of this video, if you want to go to wish.com and buy 50 crankbaits for $100, sure, you can fill up your tackle box that way, but I think it's best that you invest in actual good tackle, good rods and reels that allow you to have success as an angler for a long time. So all the companies and gear that I recommend in this video, I highly recommend. I would not recommend product in this video that I would not actually use myself, and I guarantee you I have almost all these products, if not all of them, within my boat right here. So we're actually gonna head off the water. I'm gonna head back home because the purpose of this is to show you guys what you need. And of course, if you need it, you gotta buy it. So we're gonna head over to Tackle Warehouse and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you need to start off your bass fishing career, you could say. Let's head home. Well, everybody, we are back in here at my apartment, and I'm gonna sit down on my computer, record my screen, and show you guys, like I mentioned in the intro, the bare necessities of what you need to get started in fishing. Whether you're into pond, or whether you somehow, during this economy, went and bought a boat, and you were trying boat fishing for the first time, this is the stuff that you need. Now, I'm gonna mention that there's quite a few things that you might want or that might make you a better angler later on down the road. And if you are currently an expert or above novice bass fisherman, you might watch this video and say, oh, I can think of 10 more things they would need. I'm naming off the bare minimum, the stuff that you're gonna need just to get by and catch fish no matter where you are. And so we're gonna record my screen, we're gonna get this thing started, and I'm gonna have all of these gear, rods, reels, baits linked down below, and the exact website that I'm shopping on today, Tackle Warehouse, for you guys to purchase, because I believe a lot of people are gonna wanna start fishing during this time, and I hope this video helps you guys in that. So let's hop on a Tackle Warehouse and see what y'all need. So the screen is now up. We're gonna start with rods and reels. I believe that every beginning bass fisherman needs one spinning rod and one bait caster. And you may think, I don't wanna throw a bait caster. You need to learn how because it is incredible. So we're gonna go with the Lew's American Hero for 3 out of the 4 categories. So I'm gonna say you should get the American Hero Camo Speed Spin spinning reel. It is $39 and it's camo, who doesn't want that? And if you go down to all of these products, there's not a single bad review on any of these. So that's why I choose the American Hero. We're gonna go for that with the spinning reel. I'm gonna go with the American Hero Speed, oops, wrong rod. The American Hero Speed Stick casting rod, that is $69, so you're getting, that's basically a $120 combo, which you cannot beat. I guarantee it. There is no better quality combo for $120 out there besides that one. And then for the bait caster, I'm gonna go with the American Hero bait casting rod with the Lew's Classic reel, which is the same price as the American Hero, but I think is a better reel, and that reel is $59. With my $300 rod and reel combos that I own, I actually still use 2 of these $60 reels. They are incredible, and I highly recommend those. So right there is the rod and reel combos that you need. But of course, to go along with rod and reels, you're gonna need some line. And so I use, in terms of, for the price point, I somehow spelled it wrong. There we go. Cigar Red Label. Now you say, why would I use fluorocarbon over monofilament or over braid? I think for the majority of bass fishing situations, fluorocarbon is definitely necessary for that. And so for your baitcaster, I would go with a spool of 15-pound Cigar Red Label, and then for your spinning rods, I would go with a spool of 8-pound or 10-pound. And if you guys have not seen the video that I made on how to spool a baitcaster or a spinning reel with backing, you guys can go buy some cheap monofilament, some cheap braid at Academy or Dick's to use this backing underneath the expensive line that you buy here, which 15 bucks for a spool of line really isn't even that expensive anyways. So now that you have rods, reels, and line, you're gonna need some baits. And that's really the majority of the rest of this video is the baits that you need. And so you're gonna need a crankbait. And you're gonna need two different kinds of crankbaits. You're gonna need a shallow crankbait because most of the fishing you do as a novice angler is shallow fishing. And so you're gonna need a square bill, but you're also gonna need a crankbait that you can cast out deeper and work effectively in any water depth. So you're gonna need a Strike King Red Eye Shad. It says bestseller on here for a reason, and that is because it is a bestseller. It's one of the best out there, and that is a lipless crankbait. So you cast it out there and you reel it straight back in. You can feel it wobbling the whole way, and it is a fish catcher. Now you may say, what colors do I need? Well, if you live anywhere, a shad works. So anything like chartreuse shad or chrome blackback or chrome blueback, chrome sexy shad, there's tons of different colors that work. I would go with 1/2 ounce in terms of your size, 1/4 ounce maybe if you're fishing a really shallow pond, and then 3/4 ounce if you are fishing like a deep quarry. But I think 1/2 ounce would get you by for the majority of the situations. And then of course if you live in Florida and you're fishing for fish that eat shiners, throw a gold one. If you're up north, maybe you're in Minnesota, maybe throw a perch color. If you don't have as many bait fish or shad in your lakes, that's what I would say for that crankbait. Then of course you're gonna need a square bill crankbait. That's one of the staples of my tackle box, and I go with the KVD 1.5 right here. It is just a square bill crankbait. Actually, is that the right one? No, there it is. KVD 1.5. It's called the HC now, and I would go with either blackback chartreuse, this color right here, or chartreuse shad or chartreuse sexy shad. Really hard to go wrong with any of those three colors. And that will cover all of your moving baits with the exception of one more, and that is a vibrating jig. So I like the Thunder Cricket. You may say $13.99 for one lure. That's a bit steep to begin bass fishing, but if you've ever thrown a vibrating jig, you'll know that it is one of the best fish catchers all year round, no matter if you're in ponds or lakes. So I would get yourself a Strike King Thunder Cricket in green pumpkin right here. I would get the 1/2 ounce or the 3/8 ounce for one of those two right there. And to go along as the trailer on your vibrating jig, you're gonna wanna get a Menace Grub. This here, not Menace Gub, Menace Grub. I'm trying to fit all this within 10 minutes. The Menace Grub right here, I would go, or the Twin Tail Baby Menace. That is a trailer that can work well on both your Thunder Crickets and your jigs later on when you get into fishing jigs. I'll mention one jig in this video here real quick, but I would go with any green pumpkin, watermelon, black and blue, whatever color jig or Thunder Cricket you're throwing, you're gonna wanna throw the same or very similar color trailer, and that is your Menace Grub. And so moving on to soft plastics, everybody loves themselves a soft plastic stick bait. So I would get yourself a Strike King Ocho. I would get it in either green pumpkin or watermelon red, and I would stick with either the 5 or the 6 inch. I feel the 6 because I like the 6, but the 5 is really a really versatile, soft plastic stick bait. Even though I am sponsored by Strike King, now that I've used the Ocho, I highly prefer the Ocho over any other brand. So I would get yourself a few packs because, as you know, with soft plastics, or maybe you don't know because you're a new bass fisherman, you're gonna go through them because they break after 2 or 3 or 4 fish, and so you're gonna be going through packs. So I would get 2 or 3 packs of those to start. Good news is you can always order more on Tackle Warehouse or head over to Bass Pro Shops and get some for yourself. And then in terms of the other soft plastics you may need, if you want to fish a more finesse, situation, I'd go with a shaky head worm. So I think it's called the KVD Finesse Worm. And yeah, that there is very similar to the Ocho, but it's more slender and more finessey, as they call it. I would go with the KVD Perfect Plastic, and I would go with the 6.5 inch in any sort of, bold bluegill looks good, candy craw, anything natural, green pumpkin, watermelon, those kind of colors. I have had a lot of success with straight black as well. That's kind of a more, technique specific thing when the fish are deep and the water is clear, that kind of stuff. And of course, to go along with that, you're gonna need a jig head. And we'll get into hooks and weights here in a second. So Outcast Tackle makes a jig head. I would go with this one here, the Shake 'em Down Shaky Head Jig. And I'd probably go with, of course, Green Pumpkin. They're out of stock. They'll be back in stock soon, in the 5/16 ounce. Now, when you're throwing your Ocho, or of course, as you get more into soft plastics, you're gonna need a hook. So I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go wide gap hook. Again, Tackle Warehouse is anything that you may need. Right here, Gamakatsu Offset EWG Worm Hooks Black. There are so many hooks to choose from. I like a good wide gap hook that is good for the price. And so I'm gonna go and recommend the Gamakatsu Offset EWG 3/0 in a 25 pack, because that's a heck of a deal. For 19 bucks, you get 25 hooks. That's like $1 a hook. And so I would add one of those to your cart as well. And when you're first starting out, I would either suggest throwing your soft plastics weightless or with a tiny weight. I'm not even gonna look at lead weights on Tackle Warehouse because their selection is so small, but I would go with a 1/8 ounce lead weight, maybe 1/16 ounce. Tungsten is awesome. It is smaller for the size, of course for the weight, it's more dense, but I think for lead and hooks, I would say be as conscious as possible, because if you're a new fisherman, you're not used to tying knots, you're not used to retying if you get your line frayed, so you're probably gonna lose more baits. And so I wouldn't throw tungsten or expensive hooks, because those are going to get stuck more often as a new angler. And so one more bait that I think you may need is going to be a topwater, because topwater is one of those baits that got me excited about fishing in the first place. And so I would go with the Strike King HC KVD Splash Popper in either chrome blue or nude. If you're fishing in clear water, the color nude can be really good for that, as well as oyster. Really any water clarity oyster and any other kind of shad with a white bottom can be really good. So that's all the lures that I think you need. Let me read the list one more time. Outcast. I'm gonna recommend the Outcast Juice Jig. I'll add that to the cart as well. It is a great jig, just kind of all around for skipping docks, for flipping wood, all that jazz. But I think the one more thing, I guess the two more things you're gonna need are pliers and scissors. I would get 2 pairs of pliers and 3 pairs of scissors. I think I use the Rapala scissors. Let me check this real quick. Okay, I can't find them. I probably spelled scissors wrong. Whatever. I can't spell. There's, I'd say the Rapala scissors, I think they're like $3 on Amazon, and any kind of pair of pliers, you're gonna need something to cut your line, and you're gonna need pliers to get the hook out of the fish's mouth if it does get stuck pretty good. And the last thing that you're going to need is going to be some kind of box to keep them in. Now you may have Tupperwares at home, you may already have a tackle bag if you're getting back into fishing, but I would recommend not a tackle box that has slots in it, because then you're gonna end up buying a bait that's too big, take out the slots and nothing ends up fitting like you wish it would. And so I'm gonna recommend the Plano 3607. It is just a wide open box. So as you can see here on the screen, it is about a foot-long box, about 7 inches wide, and it can fit everything you need in there. So it can fit your line spool, it can fit your scissors and your pliers, it can fit a scale if you have one, and of course, if you are just beginning, you don't have that many lures, so you can fit it all within one box and take that in a drawstring backpack around the pond or lakes that you are going to. So that is all the necessities that I think you need. I'm gonna total it up and show you guys kind of what a total price would look like. But I just want to reiterate again, if I haven't said it already, that beginning fishing is not going to be cheap. Just like you're joining any sport, if you're going to try to start playing lacrosse or golf, it's not going to be all that cheap. And so I tried to have the bare necessities, but I still wanted to give you guys quality product that you would actually catch fish on and would last you a long time. If you want to go on wish.com and get 100 crankbaits for $20, you can, but the quality is not gonna be there, and I would highly recommend all the gear that I talked about in this video. Now, of course, if you subscribe to the channel, you're gonna see me fishing with tons and tons more lures, equipment, and accessories than I mentioned in this video. And that is because I'm more advanced of an angler. That's just the experience that I put into it, the time I put into it. I know a lot more, and so if you guys subscribe to the channel, you'll start to know more as well. You'll broaden your fishing horizons, and you'll be able to make more purchases that can make you a better angler. The old saying, it's not about the arrow, it's not the arrow, it's the Indian, which carries the connotation of it's not the gear you're using, it is you as the angler. And so that's kind of my parting thought, is that you don't have to have the nicest stuff. You don't have to have the most stuff. If you can learn how to use the equipment that I've talked about in today's video, then you will be a successful angler before you know it. So let's head back on the water and finish this video. So that is the video, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed, and of course, if you did, please hit the subscribe button to join Team TRF. I'd love to take you guys along all my adventures with me and teach you guys all the things that I learn as I travel and fish. But with that said, we'll see you guys next time on TRF.